Let's do this. The Cult of Hockey podcast by the faithful and for the faithful. I'm David Staples of the Edmonton Journal, and I'm here tonight with Kurt Levins. Welcome, Kurt.
Filled with Christmas baking, and Christmas cooking, and Christmas beverages, and an Oilers win in the Battle of Alberta. Pretty good combination.
Sounds like Santa came early at Shea Levin's.
Yeah, it's Christmas at our house. About the only thing that wasn't Christmas was watching the Oilers, and that was kind of a nice present too. So,
did you actually have your Christmas dinner, family Christmas dinner tonight? Or
no, we're just full into celebration mode. Yeah,
you guys are like hobbits. You know,
that's it.
This was 11sies. You're
Yes.
just warming up for Christmas. That's great. That's great.
Well, I guess we could have had the silver pole up because it's the 23rd, right? So it's Festivus. So
is that what they have on Festivus?
Yeah,
Pole?
It's the silver pole, and if we really did a Festivus podcast, David, we could have feats of strength at the end of the podcast, and all those George Costanza
grievances about each other, though, Kurt.
I was going to say there'd have to be grievances.
Yeah, let's not go there, man.
I'm not interested in that either.
All right. We only air grievances about the hockey players who, we never see face to face. Well, we always try to be professional about it. And
yeah, indeed we do.
The play and not the person.
Yes.
So, and put our best effort into getting it right. That's what it's all about. And we do that as well, I'm going to say. Kurt, my headline is a men versus boys vibe in this game. And as much as I've seen, this was as dominating a win. It's only 5-1 for the Oilers, so there's been bigger differentials in scores. But this was the biggest crap kicking the Oilers have given in a long time. They stomped the Calgary Flames. The
even when it was close, it wasn't close.
Yeah, maybe a little bit in doubt in the first, but it always is. But it was 26-9 for grade A shots, which is a pretty good differential. But on the 5 alarm shots, Kurt, the most dangerous shots, 16-2.
Wow. Is that the biggest gap that you've ever scored?
I didn't check.
Got to be close, right?
Yeah, it's got to be close. Like, it's hard to imagine. Like, that is just, they just kept coming. And,
well, you know what? The Oilers are a good hockey team, and the Calgary Flames aren't.
Yeah. They fired their guns, and the British kept it coming.
Wasn't quite as many as there was a while ago. Yeah.
Oh, man.
They should trade their assets now, man, and aim for that draft pick and open up that new arena with a better team, because this club isn't going anywhere.
Well, apparently they've been on a good run lately. Coming into the game, that's all we heard about. But that is not a team. After the Oilers lost to Colorado, maybe the Avs fans were saying the same thing about the Oilers, like, this is a pathetic team. And the Oilers did look that bad, but the game itself was a bit closer. Even then, what was it, 9-2 or 9-1 or something like that? It was horrible. But so the Flames have 15 wins and 22 losses. They have 98 goals for and 113 against. This is clearly a team going nowhere fast.
God. Did Jonathan Huberdeau play?
What's that?
Did Jonathan Huberdeau play?
I don't think he did.
He was invisible.
I think he was just sat on the bench the whole time. They were all invisible except for a couple of guys who made themselves known with one really big, good hit and another hit that we will talk about later.
We will.
But, the Flames should. Listen, there's a concern, I guess. I've heard some people say that there's a concern in the NHL about tearing it all down, and it might be harder to rebuild that way. Because in the salary cap era, teams will have a lot more money to keep their good players. So how does that impact a rebuilding team? They weren't signing good players from good teams anyway.
Yeah.
But maybe the good teams won't be so desperate to do deals for draft picks with the weaker teams because they can keep more of their good players themselves. But the good teams always want to get better. Like they're always looking for trades. Like even if you have a really good team and you can keep all your good players, you still want to make a trade at the deadline for an even better player so you can win the Stanley Cup. So go ahead.
Well, I guess you can make a case that the draft lottery, it's not as much of an automatic as it used to be, and I guess you can blame the Oilers for that. But it's you can finish at the bottom with a rotten record and end up picking third or fourth, right? It's so it is no guarantee if you rip it down to the studs that you'll get the number one pick, and I suppose that's maybe holding them back as well. But look, even if you get a top 5 pick, what this Calgary Flames team can't do is finish like 9th or 10th, because that'll get you nowhere fast. And I want the Flames to be competitive. Like I want the Battle of Alberta to mean something. I'm not like some of those fans out there who want one city or the other to just fail miserably. This is a part of our heritage, right? But it's they got to get moving because they're going nowhere with this team.
So in the you're right. So it is a little more difficult to get the first pick. It's been that way for some time, though.
Yep.
So that hasn't changed. And the San Jose and Chicago and Anaheim have all used this strip it down thing, and they're all really rebuilding. I mean, the year that Chicago took Connor Bedard, Anaheim got the second pick, and they took Leo Carlsson, who's come alive this season.
Mm-hmm.
There's not always 2 players that good in a draft. But
this year there might be 3 or 4, right? 3 for sure. So
well, some drafts have, let's say, 10 to 15 Hall of Fame hockey players in them. It's rare, but I went through and counted a while ago, and some of them have that many. I think the top was maybe 13 or 14 Hall of Famers, because it was hard to tell because it's happened in the 2000s, so some of them are still eligible or still playing.
Right.
And we don't know if they'll get in the Hall of Fame. But and some drafts have none. Like the year Nail Yakupov was drafted first overall, I don't think there's going to be any Hall of Fame players from that entire draft. Maybe there'll be one. So you just don't know. The draft is always a crapshoot. And so I still think for some franchises, maybe if you're in a really super attractive location in the United States, you can rebuild by signing free agents. Like players really want to come there kind of no matter what. For tax reasons, for weather reasons, and these seem to have a factor. But if you're in a Canadian market, I think you're not going to get that tax advantage guys coming, and you're not going to get the warm weather guys coming. So I think you probably want to go the rebuild route.
Well, yeah, because look, I don't quite buy that you won't get that if you're a Canadian market. If you're a Canadian market and you're a good team, I think that stuff doesn't matter that much. And
if you're a good team, you will, Kurt, but not if you're a bad team.
Yeah, precisely. So look, you're preaching to the choir. I agree with you. The Flames should be trying to rip this down to the studs and rebuild from the ground up. I understand that there's a pretty strong sentiment in ownership in Calgary that doesn't want to do that, and that is a deeper problem.
What's wrong with the owner? Like, why doesn't he want to do it? I don't know what he's thinking.
Hey, it's the same issue in Vancouver. So
yeah, I guess
it is. Yeah,
I don't know why they don't. Maybe there's some cities like in Edmonton. It was an easy decision because you could count on selling tickets to Oiler fans. Like I think Oiler fans really embraced the rebuild and stuck with that team, knowing this was the right path. And it took a long time for it to actually pay off. I mean, they went
patience
full
was
rebuild
impressive.
in 2009-10, the year they drafted Taylor Hall. And I think he was in the 2010 draft, if I'm not mistaken. And, it took a long time. It was 2017 until they made the 2017 playoffs. And then they had 2 more bad years after some injury. So it's a hard route. It's been a little faster for Anaheim and San Jose. San Jose is still in the process of coming back, and Chicago's still in the process. It's not fast, but it does set you up if to compete in the playoffs. Like those 3 teams are going to come on strong as time goes by. They've all got really good hockey players. So, Kurt, 2 good things, 2 bad things, 2 numbers. We're going to go with 2 good things each. What is your first good thing?
My first good thing is Leon Draisaitl had the hat trick tonight. It's not all that often you see a hat trick and all three goals were power play goals, but they were. On one hand, were they the spectacular, this is on Sports Center tonight kind of goals that you frequently see from Leon Draisaitl? No, but hey, you still have to put him in the net, and he did tonight. When there was opportunities, he missed a couple opportunities maybe, but after going a long stretch without a goal, and still putting up points in the interim, he certainly aired it out tonight, and the hats flew after the third goal. But if you ask me, while the hat trick was really cool, that wasn't the biggest news of the night. The biggest news of the night was that Leon Draisaitl first tied and then passed Glenn Anderson for all-time goals in franchise history. Number 418 past Anderson. There are only two Edmonton Oilers in franchise history who have more goals than Leon Draisaitl in Edmonton Oilers silks, and they are Wayne Gretzky and Yari Curry. Yeah, pretty good game for number 29. We'll get to his partner in a minute, but when you have this 1-2 punch coming at you, even if you stop the one guy, there's still the other right around the corner.
That's really impressive. Like that's a great moment because people for us who remember, for the old time faithful who remember Glenn Anderson,
hell of a player.
He was such a great hockey player.
Yeah,
he just was hell bent to the net. Just took that puck as hard to the net as I've seen anyone ever take it to the net. He often got hung up on the crossbar as he was going to the net.
He did. He'd do that swing, right? Yeah.
He combined so well with Mark Messier all those years. And what a hockey player.
Yeah, he could just fly. He had great boots, and he was a bit of a rat to boot, right? Like he scored a lot of goals, but he brought a lot else to the game.
Oh, God. Such a great player for Team Canada as well.
He was.
So congratulations to Leon Draisaitl for that. What a great accomplishment. He now has 20 goals and 55 points in 38 games. So he's working his way up the scoring race himself, and he's +9. So he might even lead the Oilers in that category. Vasily Podkolzin +12.
Two-way Vasily
play early in the game on the back check. Wow.
I noted that as well. Just a terrific play, right? So,
all right, my good thing, and Kurt, I was tempted to give Leon a 10 in the game, have matching grades of 10. I don't think that has ever happened in a game.
Oh.
But when I thought of the 3 goals, I just thought it's a 9. It's a 9 because
here we are critiquing a hat trick.
two open nets, and the other one he moved into the slot, and McD set him up, and no Calgary Flame went to him, so he had from 10 feet away he could just put it in the net. So these were all really good goals, but it wasn't a 10 game, it was a 9 game as I saw it for Leon Draisaitl. For Connor McDavid though, I gave him a 10. 5 assists. And the goal, I want to talk about the first goal especially, even though it wasn't that special a play in some ways for McDavid. They come down the ice, McDavid puts it to Hyman, Hyman kind of puts it off the goalie's pad or off the side of the net. It goes behind the net and McDavid gets it. And he comes out, swoops out of the corner to dish to Bouchard. And Bouchard puts it on net. Nugent Hopkins goes to the net, puts it in.
Rebound,
but the interesting thing, and it was my wife who pointed this out, how did Nugent Hopkins get so open? So I hadn't thought about that. How did he get, because there was no one around him. There was no one on him. She said, there's lots of guys in the slot, but there's no one on Nuge. So I reviewed it anyway, but I went back and re-reviewed it. And I realized when McDavid came out of the corner, Kurt, they weren't just puck watching the 5 Flames. They were Connor McDavid watching. They were mesmerized by Connor McDavid. They were he was all they saw in the universe was one guy, one scary monster of a player. And it's puts it to Bouchard. And then bang, it's on net. Great play by Bouchard to get it on net.
Yep.
And that's how Nuge got so open. But by the time it was on net, only then were they turning their eyes away from Connor McDavid. And Nugent Hopkins snuck in behind and scored. That's how he was so wide open. And that's the power of Connor McDavid in a game. He he draws opposing players like no one else. Now, sometimes that works to his detriment because there's lots of attention on him. But here it worked to his favor.
It does create often ice for the other guys who are playing with him at the time.
And he likes to play with players who take advantage of that ice, like Zach Hyman and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. And I'm starting to think Bob Stauffer was talking about the Oilers are going to be trading for a center. I'm starting to think we're not going to see Ryan Nugent-Hopkins off that line.
Well, I kind of mentioned this last podcast, right? Like, it's like, who else other than Zach Hyman can you name who has been an automatic with Connor McDavid in the last 5 years?
Yeah, Nuge is the closest, right?
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
and he hasn't always been automatic. That line's had its troubles now and then. They've had stale moments and stale stretches.
Yeah. But taken as a whole,
keep coming back to it, and they seem to be getting better. Well, we're on it. This is recency bias. They are just killing it right now.
Well, one, Nugent Hopkins is an over a point a game player this year. Who saw that coming? I don't think either you or I did.
We did not.
Yeah. Here's the other thing for you, David. Have we seen Connor McDavid better than in the last half dozen games?
Yeah, just as some people were speculating that he was over the hill. I brought it up on the podcast, and you said, that's just malarkey, which it was. But I thought it was interesting. It was an interesting thing to say because, it got me wondering. And when I looked into it and when I looked into the numbers that we keep on grade A shots, no, even before this streak started, he was still getting lots of his normal number of grade A shots. He just wasn't getting puck luck.
I thought that was total clickbait.
Fair enough, Kurt. Okay, he broke in on a breakaway and drew a penalty. He had another great zone entry on the 2-1 goal. He found Draisaitl in the slot for a second power play goal early in the second. That was the pass to Draisaitl in the low slot that Draisaitl slammed in. The next goal, the fourth goal, was astonishing. He comes rushing up the ice, and it's the same impact on Dustin Wolf, the goalie. And the defenseman, they were totally on him. He totally froze Wolf, and just put the puck over to Hyman for a putt, an easy putt goal for Zach Hyman to score.
Did he have to put it 6 inches for it to go in? Like,
it was just like, it looked so easy in the end because everyone else on the ice had stopped moving. They were frozen stiff by McDavid, like this wolf, having like we hear about animals in the wild just being mesmerized and standing still as the predators coming in because they don't know what to do. The fifth goal was another beautiful rush, just charged up ice, moved into the crease, and a bit of a scramble. Hyman knocks it over, Draisaitl puts it in. So 5 assists on the night, and like he's now got 67 points in 38 games. He's 6 points ahead of Nathan MacKinnon, who has 61 points and 2 games in hand. I believe it's 2 games in hand. Maybe it's just one now, because NHL.com is always so slow. So McKinnon's gone from having a 10, 15, 20-point lead over McDavid. I'd have to check that out. To now McDavid's got a 6-point lead on MacKinnon.
It was double digits for sure. And look, Nathan MacKinnon's having a terrific season. But
yes, his plus minus is off the charts too.
Yeah, but to my point, right? I'm not sure we've seen Connor play better.
That goal he scored last game where he came screaming down the side and cut into the middle and put it in.
Yeah.
That may be like in some ways to me that was the archetypical Connor McDavid goal, like the defining goal for him. Just and he had another one against Toronto the other night where he went through another one where he just accelerated so fast past everybody.
Yeah, beating multiple defenders,
plays
right?
That no one else can make, and no one else has ever been able to make. Maybe Bobby Orr.
Yeah,
I don't remember Bobby Orr that well, so I can't really say. I never saw Bobby Orr at his peak. I was too young and we didn't get Boston on TV very much. So no one else, Kurt, can score goals like that.
Yeah,
and has ever, like, I don't think consistently. Maybe Howie Morenz did back in the day, but we don't have any video of that. So, like, none at all.
Yeah, and I don't think Howie was going 35 kilometers an hour on those tube skates.
It's all relative, you know, as
I
long as he's
guess.
going 5K faster or like 2K or 3K faster than the next fastest player. All right, Kurt, your second good thing.
My second good thing is Trent Frederick. I think there's some valuable context here. The context comes in two parts. Part one, he was a healthy scratch last game.
Yeah.
Which I thought was late, maybe, but the absolute right thing for Chris Knobloch to do. And it sounds like it was like, okay, we're going to give you a game off, and we're gonna go into the next game as if it's your first game of the season, and you're just going to start fresh. My sense is that was the approach. And so he comes back, and he's very effective tonight. So that's one thing. The next thing, though, is after the big hit that ball lands in the neutral zone,
Clean hit,
open ice on Zach Hyman. To be clear, I have no issue with the hit itself. It was clean. But
great hit. Yeah.
Great hit, but this is, a big guy on the Calgary Flames taking liberties with one of your all-star players, right? There has to be some sort of a response for that. Frederick was challenged to a fight earlier in the game and didn't take it. And why would you give the Flames any opportunity to get momentum, right? You got to pick your spots. But when a guy like Ball, who's, wouldn't be a regular on the Edmonton Oilers, takes a run at one of your all-star players in the middle of the ice, there's got to be a response. And there was a response. And so Trent Frederick lined up with him, got a really sharp right in. I think overall the fight was probably a draw. But there's a case where Trent Frederick is doing the sorts of things that he was brought in here to do, is be an effective, heavy player. And when someone takes a liberty with one of your guys, you're there to answer back. Is he all the way back? No, I'm not gonna proclaim that yet. Let's talk in June whether Trent Frederick ever comes all the way back this year. But in terms of a response from being healthy scratch the game before to answering the bell tonight, I think that's a good dose of what we want to see on a regular basis from Trent Frederick.
Big Bad Ball is a huge person. So Frederick's given up 4 or 5 inches and 20, 30 pounds in that fight.
Yeah, and Frederick's not a small guy, but you're right.
No.
There's two fights that Trent Frederick has taken this year. He has taken against guys who easily outreached and outweighed him. So you can criticize quite fairly a lot of things about Trent Frederick. You can't criticize the guys that he's had scraps with.
Still missing Evander Kane, honestly. That's where you'd like Kane was such a fearsome hockey player. He was truly a fearsome player. And guys like Ball would be careful around Evander Kane. Frederick was, I agree, I was really impressed with Frederick. And I was so moved by your speech there, Kurt. I moved his grade from a 6 to a 7 as you were talking.
Look at the influence I have.
The great orator, the Cicero of the Cult of Hockey podcast. So but you're right. It was a huge moment for Trent Frederick. He's got to do that and step up like that. And I don't think it's like he loves to. I don't get that. So this is the difference. Like guys like Zadorov and Kane, the real apex predators of the NHL, they love doing it. They live for these confrontations, I think. Yeah. I don't think Frederick does. But good for him for getting involved in one like that and standing up for his teammate in an important way.
Yeah, it takes courage, right?
It takes a lot of courage. Really, it takes good for him. Good for him. Okay, my second good thing is, the Oilers didn't give up a goal in garbage time, Kurt.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the shots were. Let me just see.
He stopped 18 of 19, right? So shots were 39-19 at the end of the game.
So that'll help his save percentage. The goalie, that's a big stat for goalies. Again, there was just 2 5-alarm chances, and just 9 grade A shots. So it wasn't a tough night at all. But he did have, it was 3-1, and he made one really, really great save on Backlund, I think it was, who broke in. and got off a really kind of a break-in chance. Let me just see this.
I also noted a
Yeah,
good save when it was 3-1 on Lomberg as well.
yeah. So there was two in a row actually
Right.
within a minute, and he came up. If it was right after the ball hit actually. So the Flames were already like everyone's testosterone level,
Yes.
went up on the bench already, and then Backlund walked Bush and semi-walked him like it was a break-in, not a breakaway, but Ingram stopped it. So it was just a huge moment because if they had scored after that big hit on by Ball and then back, if he had scored and it was 3-2, this is a different game. So again, it was in crunch time. He made a big save, and the Oilers, they gave up one power play chance. Geez, did they give up? I got to change this third period. They gave up one power play grade A shot in the entire third period. That's all there was one grade A shot to the Flames. They didn't do what they've been doing, which is, killing their goalie save percentage by letting people walk right in and score, which was kind of awful.
Yeah, and they had done it to both Skinner and Pickard, right? So it wasn't a good look.
It really wasn't, and they didn't do it. So Kurt, we got the early returns on our bet, the famous bet,
our coffee bet.
Coffee bet.
Yeah, early returns is right. It's 2 games.
Well, we need to set out some parameters for how I win this bet, because
you said he'd play like the starter, and I said they'd play 50. I said they'd play 50-50.
Okay, so, fair enough. So we'll see how about this? Till Tristan Jarry comes back.
Don't count your coffees yet, David.
The parameters. Let's see if we can agree on the parameters. I'd say a starter starts 2 out of 3 games.
Yeah, I believe I said 75% of the starts last game, but if you want to say 2 out of 3 games, I'll agree to that.
Okay, that was what was in my head as the starter. But you're probably right. You're probably right, Kurt. It's probably 3 out of 4. I'm not sure though. It's kind of in between that, I think, actually.
This better be a good coffee.
McTavish, I don't know if you saw that, but between periods, Craig McTavish addressed it. And he was definitely in your camp. I think there's a large group of fans and hockey observers. McTavish isn't a fan. I mean, he's the most knowledgeable person about hockey probably in Edmonton. So, but they see the team, the pecking order on the team, the dynamic of the team, what people have earned, what they haven't earned, where they stand with their teammates, the whole history of the team. And McTavish was surprised at the decision, I think. I don't think he really loved it. And he thought he was suggesting this was, in his mind, probably a decision made by the entire organization. So that was interesting. I don't know if he has inside knowledge about that. Like, I wonder if Bowman was, because a GM, I think I was looking at through the GM lens. You've got to play Ingram because you're the GM. You need to know, can this guy get it done? Can he be, if Tristan Jarry goes down, can we count on Connor Ingram as the starter in the playoffs? He's got to know that, because there's rumors like Marc-Andre Fleury is a new rumor that's popped up that they might want to sign him, and there's trades to be made. And if he can't do it, they might have to make another trade, is the truth. So Bowman has to know. So from the GM's perspective, you can see him wanting Ingram to start, but maybe from the coach's perspective and taking in team dynamics and who's earned what and whose feelings are going to be hurt and how all the players are going to take it, you go with Pickard. And so that's maybe maybe there's an internal conflict. I don't know that, but I'm just guessing.
Well, I'll reckon back to my column on Sunday, my 9 Things column, and my number one thing was on Calvin Pickard. And the headline was, this Edmonton Oilers goaltender may not bring home the bacon every night, but he saved it a few times. And the point of the article is, you can't turn your back on a guy who has numerous times over the past 3 seasons come in and saved your ass. Right. One of the reasons why Stuart Skinner isn't here anymore is he kept breaking down at inopportune times. And so what happened when he broke down on those inopportune times? And both were in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Calvin Pickard came in and stabilized things. So I think as an organization in that dressing room, I think it is awfully damn tough to just sit him on the sidelines after he's done that for your organization. I buy what you're saying, and you do need to know whether Ingram can do it or not. But I think you can do that with a 50-50 split. I don't think you need any more of a sample size than that.
We'll see what happens. The counter to your argument is a lot of people, including me, and I don't know where you stood, I can't recall, at the trading deadline last year, thought the Oilers needed another goalie. They couldn't count on these guys.
I wasn't in that camp.
Okay, so I was. Yep. And I don't know if I was proven right or wrong in the playoffs. Probably proven. It's kind of a bit of a question mark.
Well, but I don't think it's a question mark. The Edmonton Oilers didn't lose the Stanley Cup 2 years in a row because of goaltending. They didn't. The first year in the Stanley Cup final, Stuart Skinner outplayed Bobrovsky in the final. So that's anybody who's arguing that, it's a myth. It's not accurate. The Oilers lost fair and square, but it wasn't just on goaltending.
Even in that first playoff, Bobrovsky outplayed Skinner 4 out of 3 games.
And no, David, I'm sorry. Look at the numbers in the end. I categorically disagree with you. Stuart Skinner outplayed him in the final. There were other reasons why the Oilers lost.
The numbers for the entire final are seriously impacted by one terrible game Bobrovsky had, where he let in 5 or 6 goals in Game 6.
So you don't count that game? I'm sorry. I just don't buy that.
No. You count that game, but if you go game by game, he outplayed Skinner 4 out of 3 games.
That is your interpretation, and as I've already stated, I just don't agree with it.
And last year in the final, Skinner and both
you can make a way better argument in last year's final, and I could come and meet you 50-50 on that one, but you won't convince me the previous year.
My argument for making a trade at the deadline last year is that you couldn't count on Skinner at that point to be your number one goalie, and you couldn't count on Pickard either. So it was with that in mind. Like, I just didn't think that you could count on those guys. And Skinner did get pulled in the playoffs in the end as well. He did come back and play better, but he got pulled and he wasn't great in the final.
And look at Calvin Pickard's record in the playoffs.
Really good. So I agree with you. This is why I think there was a tough decision to be made tonight. What he did in the playoffs 2 years running, bailing out Stuart Skinner, essentially, was impressive. And
how does that cost you your job?
You got to put weight in it. But an .861 save percentage this year isn't even close to getting it done. And he is the backup goalie. So we'll see what happens. If it's 50-50 or 2 out of 3. There's a lot riding on that.
Can taste that coffee now.
Your bad thing, Kurt.
My bad thing. You know what? I honestly could not find an Edmonton Oiler to bitch about tonight. I really thought, like you, I thought it was their most complete beatdown of the season and in some time. So my bad thing actually isn't aimed at an Edmonton Oiler. Instead, it is aimed at the knee that Rasmus Andersson leveled on Zach Hyman in the third period of that game tonight. I'll say a few things about it. 1, it's a dirty play. 2, it was deliberate attempt to injure.
Yeah.
I think the league has to, the Department of Player Safety, not like I have any faith in those bozos at all, but if they've got it right, they'll look at that, and there should be a 1-game suspension on that. At bare minimum, there should be a fine. The other thing I'll say it's gutless. A guy like Rasmus Andersson runs around and pretends he's a tough guy, but never answers the damn bell. Right. So we'll see what happens in the game after Christmas, but I'll guarantee you there's a few Edmonton Oilers who will be looking for his number in every opportunity to, if he won't take a fight, there's another way to make him pay. But if you're going to, you know what? We talked about this. The earlier hit ball on Hyman, there's a price to pay for that, but not because it was dirty. It's because you're targeting our star. In the case of the Andersson hit on Hyman, you're targeting our star and it was cheap and dirty. So watch your back and keep checking over your shoulder Rasmus Andersson. If you're lucky, you'll get traded out of Calgary before that game happens because someone's coming for you.
I love how fired up you are. You can take
I just hate shit like that.
You can take the Saskatchewan hockey player out of Saskatchewan. Oh man, if you were on the ice, Ball would be, or Anderson would be in trouble.
Yeah, he'd beat the living you know what out of me, but I'd call him on it. Yeah.
There should be a suspension. That was an awful hit. That was just a dirty, awful, no good hit. Which if an Oiler had thrown it at an opposition player, I'd probably really like. I don't know.
And worse, the game was out of reach by that point. Right?
That's the other thing about it, right? The game's out of reach. It's just a dirty, nasty, intent to injure play. To hell with Anderson. Like, I agree. Like, it's like one of those things where Nurse cross-checked him. He did not hit him nearly hard enough.
No.
And he tried to, but he just had the wrong angle.
Darnell had the right idea. Yeah.
So
I like Darnell. I like angry Darnell Nurse, by the way.
Darnell Nurse is playing fantastic right now. For the last 6 weeks, he's been the best Darnell Nurse. Again, we saw it last year for long stretches, not in the playoffs, as I constantly remind people. But
I agree with you there.
He can be, when he just keeps it simple, and he made some great passes for
he did.
Great shots tonight. Like he's just really crushing it. And, I know people are critical of Regula, but it could be coincidence, but it's since he's been teamed up with Regula that Nurse's game has taken off. So I'm not, I agree that as a pair they've struggled and Regula has struggled. I thought he had a decent game tonight, Regula. There was no issues.
Big bounce back game for Regula tonight. When you look at natural stat trick, high danger chances with Regula on the ice, 5-on-5 were 5-0. So
I liked what McTavish said on Oilers Now about Regula, and I really agree with it. Like, when you're assessing players, the Oilers need some big defensemen. Now, Regula has to play bigger. He's got the size. So I like Emberson and Stastny just fine, but you need some big guys who can move, pass, and break the cycle. And that's why I stick with Regula when Wallman comes back. He is a player who you want to stick with. Now you maybe set up, like maybe you rotate the guys a bit, right? But I really think in the playoffs, he could be a pretty serviceable hockey player for the Edmonton Oilers. He's got some dust on his game from being off a year, but I don't personally think it's a coincidence that Nurse is playing a lot better since he's been with Regula.
Well could be. I won't debate that point. I will debate that when it comes to playoff time and Jake Wallman is back and healthy and Alec Regula is still in the lineup.
Well, it would be Emberson or Stastny who would sit. Not
and right
Wallman.
now I'm if the playoffs start tomorrow, Alec Regula is my seventh defenseman. Now that may change 20, 30, 40 games from now, but right now he's their seventh best defenseman.
Yeah, I'm not quite, like, I know a lot of people are enamored right now with Stastny. Like, I think he's an okay player, but we'll
Count
see.
me in. I think he's way better than I think you think he is.
We'll see. Like, over time, he's been fine. He's been decent. But it's still early days. It's still early days for Regula as well, honestly. Like,
agree.
For these young players, and Savoy, like, we're still seeing what they're still not the player they're going to be. So you just have to be patient.
And we've discussed this before, but just to repeat it. Look, I like Alec Regula. He's got lots of tools. I'm really excited about him. But as you stated earlier in the podcast, it is our job to point out when these guys don't play up to expectations, which is what he had been doing the previous 5 games. Nice to see a bounce back from him tonight.
That's a fair comment. My bad thing, Kurt, is it was just a chintzy goal in some ways that Calgary got. And when Calgary came back in that other game, the first game, they were all 3 chintzy goals. So I thought, like, just goals that were a bit fluky, as I recall, in the Calgary comeback earlier this year. It's not like they were this powerhouse team. They got lucky, and they got lucky on that first, and it was a point shot. Hyman, I thought, lost a small battle. McDavid could have been quicker to block the shot, but really, it only went in because some bad luck bounced in off Darnell Nurse. Now, we have talked in the past how Darnell Nurse seems to have a lot of this kind of bad luck where shots deflect in off him, way more than any other Oilers defenseman, is the truth. And maybe it's just because he is battling in the slot more. I don't know. Can't say, but it happened again. But it was a weird goal, and these things happen. And fortunately, it didn't cost the Oilers.
Yeah, you know what? I agree with your assessment on the play 100%. And on Darnell Nurse, having been a defenseman and having had pucks go off me into the net, I know how it feels. And in that case with Nurse, he was in the right position. He had boxed out his guy, and it was just dumb luck, if you ask me, that I think it hit him in the chest and went in. How often does that happen? Usually it goes off of a skate or a stick or a knee or something like that, right? So, yeah, I agree. I agree with the Hyman play. I thought he had lost the battle over on the wall on that play. I'd noted that in mine as well. But if this is as damning as we're going to get on the Oilers and our bad things tonight, probably an indication of how well they played.
It's interesting. There's some defensemen, because I've tracked this over time, over seasons now. And there's some defensemen who the puck hardly ever bounces in off of. Chris Russell, for as much as he blocked shots and was in the slot and playing goalie almost, there was hardly ever a shot that deflected on net for a grade A shot off him. But for Nurse, it's like 4 times as common as it was. The rate is 4 times higher than it was with Chris Russell. So it's just
interesting. I wonder if it was maybe because Russell was really actively and aggressively in those shooting lanes, where I think, and they also weren't playing zone when Chris Russell played defense for this team. They were playing man on man.
Yeah.
Whereas, not that I don't think Darnell's the greatest zone player in the world. We've had that conversation too. But when you are playing zone, you do stand around, in quotes, a little bit more, and it's more likely something's going to hit you. So,
yeah. Kurt, your number.
My number is 4. That's the 4th goal that Leon Draisaitl has scored in the Oilers' alternate jersey. They got to keep wearing them.
Well, they're gonna. When they first came out, I made a snarky comment about them. I like them. I think they actually look really good. So
yeah.
And someone had said when they first came out, well, just wait till you see the players on the ice in them and see what you think then. And that person was right. I was incorrect. Too hasty. They look fantastic. I really like those sweaters.
Yeah, I think it's a nice holler back to the old Alberta Oilers jerseys back in the day. The color schemes are comparable.
Yeah.
And because I'm a big old WHA fan, that kind of stuff catches my attention right away. What I like best about them, David, is they haven't lost in them yet.
that adds to their halo effect.
Mm-hmm.
The Alberta Oilers, they were just called the Alberta Oilers 1 year, Kurt, the first year, and then they became the Edmonton Oilers. Because I think there was no team in Calgary the first year, and then when the Calgary got a team, maybe that's when they switched.
When the Cowboys came along, I think because Bill Hunter, who I think, by the way, should be in the Edmonton Oilers Hall of Fame, but I digress. He wanted to own the Alberta market, right? So instead of just being Edmonton, it was Alberta to start with. So
he's not in the Edmonton Oilers Hall of Fame even.
No, he's the the ring of fame that they put 2 players in every year. And I've had no issue with any of the players that have gone in to date. But I keep advocating for Bill Hunter to be one of them, and he hasn't been yet.
Do they have coaches in there and GMs in there?
Is Sather in there? No, because remember, this just started a few years ago, right? So Ryan Smith is in and that kind of.
Maybe it's just for players. I don't know.
But it's not. That's the thing. I know that it's open to coaches and to
Sather obviously should be in
owners,
there.
And Sather should be.
Barry Fraser should be in there.
But Bill Hunter, the Edmonton Oilers don't even exist without Bill Hunter. So
Bill Hunter should be in there. Okay, Kurt, my number is real 500. The Edmonton Oilers have 19 wins and 19 losses. For the first time since early in the year, they have fought their way back to real 500. And real 500 to me is the mark of a team that's got a chance. If you're below real 500, like in the NHL now because of Bettman points, well, some people will say the Oilers have 19 wins and 13 losses. That is malarkey. They've got 6 losses. Some of them which came in extra time. They're still losses. They've got 19 losses. So I'm a stickler on this, Kurt, and I'm a stickler because real 500 means something. Fake 500 means you're out of the playoffs. Real 500 means you're in the playoffs. And right now the Oilers are tied for first with real 500 because nobody's running away with this specific division. The Ducks have 44 points in 37 games, and the Oilers have 44 points in 38 games. So the Ducks have a slightly higher points percentage and a game in hand. Vegas, I don't know if this has been updated. I think Vegas now is also tied. If I'm not mistaken. Let me see if I can get a new chart to see if this has been updated. I think Vegas might now be. Vegas has also got 44 points. They've got in 35 games. They've got a much better points percentage than the Oilers, and so 3 games in hand. But they're all tied up. So the Oilers. This is a great achievement for this team that started out so poorly, and played poor hockey for a long time and was plagued by a number of defensive issues, goaltending issues, third and fourth line issues, which are ongoing. Oh, the third line was better tonight. Way to go, Oilers. This is like that is fantastic. It's a great gift for Oiler fans to get there by Christmas. And they're in a great position now. They're set up to build on this and to show for the rest of the season and into the playoffs that they're a serious Stanley Cup contender, which they are. And if they can get goaltending, and now they just got to bolster those third and fourth lines, and this team is good to go, Kurt, as long as there's no injuries. This could be a really good hockey team.
Yeah, they're the only thing that still has a bit of concern in the back of my head is a lot of this blue line is still fairly young and unproven. And as much as I like, Emberson and Regula and Stastny, all 3 of them are unproven at this point in time.
In the playoffs, for sure.
Right? Yeah. And so, look, I think all of these guys have a real chance, but it's the Brett Kulak effect, right? When you used to have him back there, you felt a little bit different about your third pair.
Maybe they'll make another trade for like a third pairing guy, like a veteran third pairing guy.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how they do it because Wallman and Nurse didn't work very well together at all, and maybe it was just part of the whole team at that point. But Ekholm and Bouchard have a history. They're playing great hockey.
Take it to the bank.
You got a pairing, but what's it going to be? Like, are they going to go, let's say, with Nurse and Regula and Wallman and Emberson as their, essentially 2 second pairings and a top pairing? Is that the way it's going to be? It's quite possible they could do that, or Stastny, playing on his wrong side with Wallman or Nurse. So, or they could make a trade. But they've got 4. The good news is they've got 4 pretty good veteran defensemen. Wallman in the playoffs last year was really good.
Absolutely.
And Ekholm and Bouchard have been. Ekholm was injured last year, but they've been really good in the playoffs. They've got one guy, Nurse, who's got something major to prove in the playoffs. If he comes through for this team in the playoffs, I'm very optimistic about the Edmonton Oilers. If he keeps playing like this, that'd be. There's nothing I want to see more on a certain.
You and me both.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I haven't heard a lot of talk. Like, I've been for the last little while saying Nurse has been playing great hockey the last 6 weeks. I haven't seen other Oiler commentators really taking note of that. Like, I don't think I'm wrong about it. I think he's really been getting the job done. So
my eyes see what your eyes see, David.
Good. Well, there we go. 2 of us.
Yeah.
We're an army of 2. We are on back to back, Kurt. We're back to back. We got the knives in our hands and we're fighting off the mob.
Too good.
All right. Final thoughts? Anything you want to add, Kurt?
A couple quick hitters. We already talked about Regula, so I won't go over that again.
Great.
Max Jones. You know,
Nice.
it's the best hockey he's played as an Oiler. Let's see if he can keep it up, because the knock on him is that he can't, right? And boy, Zach Hyman would look good on Team Canada.
Zach Hyman would, and he should be on Team Canada. I wonder if Nuge.
Right?
I have that line. Like,
I had that thought tonight.
So crazy to have that line.
Just bring all three of them. And I mean, with Hyman and Nugent Hopkins, they're such reliable defensive players. It's not like you're taking some sniper who hangs around at the red line. These are two really good, complete two-way players, right? So a case could be made for it. I believe it when I see it. I don't think it's going to happen, but you could certainly make a case for it.
You really could in a short tournament. Like,
instant chemistry, right?
You know, you could put Mitch Marner instead of Nugent Hopkins, but is he going to fit in there? Is he really the right guy? Like, yeah. And I like Mitch Marner. He's a good hockey player. Right?
Me too.
Probably a better hockey. Like, you don't trade Mitch Marner for Ryan Nugent Hopkins. Marner's a more accomplished player at this point, but you're trying to win a short tournament where chemistry's big, and you could have those three guys out there on your power play. And with Makar and McKinnon, maybe, right? I don't know. They need someone. Does McKinnon shoot the same way as Draisaitl? Could he line up there? He's not a right shot, is he? I think he's a left shot.
I believe he's a left shot.
So that you have to find a right shot if you're going to have Nuge out there. But yeah, I don't. It just makes a lot of sense, Kurt. I don't know who's injured right now.
Well, the guy from Carolina, right, is hurt. And
Jarvis?
Yeah, Jarvis, and he might be back in time, but I think, look, he was a depth player who he performed well. I don't mean to take away from his performance.
Yeah,
he was good too. Player. But I think it would be pretty easy to replace him with somebody else. And you know, it's I guess we'll see how made up Team Canada's minds were.
I don't think they should put a ton of weight. They could have very easily lost that, game. Binnington came up great in overtime, and they got the goal. They got the winning goal, but there were some players who didn't play very well on defense, at forward, and I think they should be making 3 or 4 or 5 changes off that team. Like Konechny, I don't see. He didn't make much of an impression. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't have him back. I mean, I personally wouldn't have Parayko back, not a chance, because I thought he was quite ineffective.
Yeah, but he's on the team, so.
Yeah, I think he is too. Like, it just seems like the GM wants to have him there. So,
yeah.
Anyway, we'll see what happens. There's a plus side if they don't go, because then they're rested, right? And that.
Yeah.
So
But we all want to see those guys win in the Olympics, right? So.
I'd love to see that line together. Now that it has kind of this air of reality.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say a sniff of reality.
Yeah. Well, what's the better line in the NHL right now?
Yeah.
And they're all
I
Canadians.
think they've played their way into contention for that. They should. Yep. All 3 of them. Yeah. All right. Are we done?
I think so.
I don't think I've got anything else. Kurt, thanks for talking tonight.
You're welcome. I can taste that coffee now.
And in the meantime, and in between time, this has been another edition of the Cult of Hockey podcast. But before I go, I just want to wish Merry Christmas to the sharpest, smartest, sanest fan base in hockeydom. The Oil Country fans, the Cult of Hockey faithful. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas to you all.
Happy Christmas, everybody.
Talk to you later.